Let's create some mixed media masterboards from trash and turn them into unique ephemera for our junk journals. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create the mixed media masterboards themselves using the leftovers from die cutting, and I will also show you one example what you can do with those masterboards, and that's some really cool page tabs. Hi, this is Luise Heinzel. Welcome to this video and welcome to my pretty chaotic desk here. I have all of these leftovers from my die cutting here. If you know, you know. I have made a lot of projects with die cuts in the past, and yeah, I have all of this. And I thought, I'm a junk journaler, and junk journalers don't throw this stuff away. So what are we going to do? We take all of this, and I also don't care about the colors I have here, because you can change that very easily with just some paint or sprays or whatever you want. I mean, I want to make a mixed media masterboard, so that means I will definitely use some wet mediums as well to jazz these things up a little bit. How much do you need? Well, I have no idea, but I think the more you have, the better it is, because then you can make a ton of those masterboards. And the first thing I'm going to do is I take a paper trimmer. I have the Deckel trimmer here by Tim Holtz and Tonic Studios. This makes this interesting edge, but you can also, of course, use a normal paper trimmer. So then, without thinking, and that is really difficult for me, I take my first piece here and I cut that into strips. You can, of course, decide if you want to cut along the longer side or the shorter side of this thing. I would say cutting along the longer side saves some time, because, you know, then you have a longer strip and automatically more in a shorter amount of time. But if you think I want to cut along the shorter edge, then of course you can also do that. And yes, some of these pieces will fall apart and they will not stay strips. That doesn't matter. We just take what we get here. But of course, you can also say I turn this around in the middle of my process and then cut like this. If you don't have those pieces from die cutting, because you perhaps don't even have a die cut machine, don't run away. Just take other pieces you might have laying around. This could be done with any kind of scraps here. Oh, I thought this hasn't cut through completely. Yeah, well, here it hasn't cut through completely. Can you see the flower is still in there? But perhaps we can just do it like this and put that to the masterboard as well and use that as an advantage and an interesting detail. When we have all of this, let's mix this up a little bit so that we can have an easier job to glue this together now. Yes, you've heard right. We are going to glue this together. Let's save this little confetti for the next party. Let's then take some glue and let's perhaps start with one of these bigger pieces where we have this interesting edge here, but also something where nothing is cut out. If you don't have something like this, don't panic. Just take the smaller pieces and just do what I'm doing here. But I think this is a great starting point. Ooh. So then, holy cow, we take some glue and then we start gluing these things together pretty randomly. If you don't have a sewing machine, then please make sure that you have enough glue now in this step so that everything holds together pretty well. I will go to my sewing machine later and I will sew over this so that then, you know, I don't need so much glue now, but that later on everything is going to be held together with the help of my sewing machine. After I have glued here everything to this white space, I want to just go on and take these and just do it like this, so that I have, yeah, basically this idea of gluing the strips to each other like so. And then I get what I get from this kind of layering with these patterns from the die cutting. Okay, I think this is a pretty good size. You could, of course, make them even bigger than this is, but I think for me this is good. This is also good to handle under my sewing machine because it's not so big and then it's easier to sew over that. So now I will go on with my gluing and I will just make some more of these pieces from these leftovers. And if you want to craft along with me here, and if you want to follow the upcoming videos as well, and if you want to then, you know, create those projects from the upcoming videos as well, it would be a good idea to make some more of these mixed media masterboards today or whenever you want to make this, so that you have some of those in your stash and that you can then use them for the other things. Because in today's video I will show you how to make some page tabs from these after we have manipulated and altered these a bit in a second. But in my upcoming videos I will also use them again and show you more ideas what you can do with them. So if you want to craft along, then it would be good if you would have some more, because then you can just take them out from your stash and you don't have to start from scratch every single time. So here we go. Junk journal medicine, very important. And oh, we even have a little heart here, look. Is that a sign? If yes, for what is the sign? I don't know. But what I know is that all of these are sewn now. As you can see, I went pretty wild over this with zigzag and also some running stitches. For the next step, and for turning this into a mixed media piece, you can use whatever you want. Please choose what you want and what you have. I want to do the following thing. I want to start with some sprays. This is brushed corduroy spray stain. And I want to, yeah, what do I want to do? I want to have these colors not so extreme anymore. And in a second, I will also add some acrylic paint. This is vintage photo spray stain. But first, I want to make sure with these sprays that I can come into these little slots here to cover the most of these colors up. And I say the most because, as you can already see here, not everything can be covered up by this kind of spray, because this paper here obviously is too slippery so that the spray can't dry on that. But that is good, because that way we can get a more interesting result, I would say. This is Gathered Twigs oxide spray. So then I'm going to take some black acrylic paint and a brayer. You could, oh no, this is, oh. I bought this brayer in Rome years ago and I love this brayer so much because I bought it in Rome, I mean, you know, but this thing always wants to come out. That's not so good. You could now, of course, use other mediums as well. For example, texture paste, crackle paint, whatever you like, and put that on there. I want to have this, yeah, pretty much like black with only a few of these colors, because that matches the other things I want to use the best, but please do what you like. Then we are going to dry this again, and while we are drying this, we could already think about what else we could do. The next step I want to use to bring out this texture a little bit more. I mean, when you feel over it, you can feel it, of course, and if you look close, you can of course see this texture, but it's depending on the angle of the light if you can see it or not, and I want this to be really visible. So let's think about how we could do that. Also, here we have multiple possibilities now. You could take another color of acrylic paint now and dry brush this. We could also think about gilding wax, and I think that is what I want to try. You could also use an acrylic spray now. I mean, these will not work anymore now because here is acrylic paint on this piece now, and these would not dry anymore on the acrylic paint. What you could do is, let's try that. Sometimes that works. I made the experience that it works with the distress paint, to be honest. This I've never tried because this is just a cheap acrylic paint from Action. So I don't know if that will work now, but let's just try it. With the distress paint it definitely works. You go over this with the paint, and then you take an oxide spray. You can't use spray stain here because spray stain is translucent and then you wouldn't see anything, but with oxide spray that's no problem. This is hickory smoke, and then you spray this on, and we perhaps can also add a little bit of water to make sure that it soaks into the acrylic paint a little bit, and I'm talking about the acrylic paint which is still wet, the layer I've just applied, and then you dry that and hope for the best. In the if you use distress paint, it works every single time because you know, normally when acrylic paint is dry it's like plastic, and oxide spray and spray stain would not dry on something like plastic because it's not made for such a surface. But I made the experience with distress paint, and I'm hoping that it works with this paint here now as well, that when the paint is still wet and when you then spritz the oxide spray, or on a lighter surface the spray stain, if you had used white acrylic paint here, you could of course also use the spray stain, then somehow that is mixing and then it gets permanent. And if that was the case here, oh my goodness, that would be fantastic, because look, this already brings out this texture really, really well. Yeah, it works. Here it comes off because it's not completely dry, and here perhaps because the paper is so slippery, but it seems to work. If it was completely dry, then it wouldn't come off. Yeah, that is amazing, isn't it? Oh, shall we do that? I think we will do that here again as well, since I have so much paint left here. Why not? I have a really wild mixture here. I think that is the perfect color. I will tell you what this is. This is a mixture of both of these colors here. These are both by Craft Emotions. This one here is called Metallic Honey Gold. And this one here is just called Metallic Gold. I have mixed these for some freaky reasons because I wanted to have this stuff on some of my furniture. For example, my table in my living room, the drawers I have made with this, and this was the right color. This was too cold for me, and this honey one was too, honey for me. So I thought I tried to mix them, and then I suddenly had the color I wanted. So now I just take this and carefully apply this here, not everywhere, but just in some spots, and that of course brings out the texture even more. You could also go over this with a stencil and texture paste to give it even more texture. Shall we do that? When we add texture paste now, we could again use sprays. Spray stains, because that would dry on the texture paste. I think I want to do that. Let's grab some opaque texture paste. This has the number THS056. Just put a really thin layer of this on here, because I can feel that the piece itself is already pretty thick, and when I turn that into ephemera later, I don't want to have it too crazily bulky. We could now first dry this, but why? I don't want to dry this. Vintage photo spray stain. A little mist of water. Some hickory smoke oxide spray. Some more water. And since the paste is gesso based, these mediums I've just sprayed will dry on here. On the gilding wax and the acrylic paint, they will not dry. So the gilding wax, especially the gilding wax, reacts like a resist now. So that means when everything on the paste is dry, I can take a paper towel and take the rest off, because with the spraying, obviously it went also to the areas where not the paste is, but that's totally fine. We can just later on remove that. So then, let's just take a paper towel and remove the spray from those areas where the gilding wax is. Before we go on, let's add some gold splatters. This is tarnished brass distress paint. This is already mixed with some water. So this is completely dry now, and I'm totally in love with this piece. I mean, what is this? If you think how that was in the beginning, I mean, we made it from this just in a few minutes, and that is really cool. I think this has very much potential. You could obviously use this for a junk journal cover. You could use this as a junk journal page, obviously, but I want to do something else. I want to turn this thing into some page tabs. And for that, and please don't run away if you don't have that. To be honest, I'm assuming the most of you will not have that yet because it's brand new in my shop. Perhaps some of you, you know, the very intense stalkers, I mean that in the most positive way when I say that word, they might have seen it already because it's listed in my shop since a few days already. But if you haven't seen it yet, don't panic. If you don't have this, don't panic. You can use something else as well. If you want to have it, the link is down below in the description box. What is this? This ephemera pack is called Typewriter, and it has some really cool, but also perhaps a little strange typewriters in it. For example, these page tab typewriters. I will go into detail about these in a second, but that is not the only thing in the ephemera pack. That would be a little bit boring. It also has some butterflies, which look like they were made from typewriter pieces. I have put a ton of effort into creating this digital. I'm so hoping that you will like this. This is, I guess, one of my favorite, and also, I don't want to say best digitals because, you know, that sounds so arrogant, but I'm so in love with these things. I think this is pretty creative. Not only the digital, but also what you can do with it. As you can see, I've layered these funny typewriters over each other so that you then can have a belly band, for example, from these, or you can turn that into tuck spots or whatever you like. You can check out that digital by clicking the link below this video. It has also these funny tuck spots, some triangular tuck spots, some tags, and also all of these tags here. Some are more like backgroundish, like these, but there are also some which have also the butterflies, and I think this turned out so cool, and I'm so happy that I could manage this, especially with this little scratchy texture here. That was not so easy to make. And yeah, there are also some other things like these little cards here, but you will see these in my upcoming videos. Again, I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek about this ephemera pack, but you can of course check that out in detail by clicking the link in the description box, and then you can in my shop see the preview of all of the pages and everything which is included. I haven't even shown you everything. It's a really huge pack. But what I want to do today is I want to use these little things here, because with this idea of having a typewriter as a page tab, the whole thing started. This whole ephemera pack came to life through this idea. So then, what are we going to do? I want to tear this apart. Yes. I want to tear this apart. You've heard right. To have something which can be in here, there where the threads are. I will first try to tear. And if that is not possible, I mean, I don't want to destroy my thing here, yeah? If it's not possible to tear, I will just take my scissors and, you know, cut the thread. Ooh, this looks even better like this. And yes, these will turn out perhaps a little bigger than you might expect a page tab to be. But that is exactly what I like, because I want to have a lot of this stuff there. So this is one option. Here I want to in a second add something else, so let's have that in mind. What about this piece? Oh yes, look, this color here fits really well to this green which is coming through here from the papers we've used. And with like this. So then let's start with this one where this cool flower is. these are my vintage photo strips, also from my shop. I think many of you already know these, and I think the most of you already have them. Thank you very much for that and for your support. If you don't know these yet, you can find the link down below in the description box. Nice, but not nice enough. And this is a lot of crisscross, I would say now, and I really enjoy that. Yeah, look, because when you think, okay, photo, nice idea, would fit to the typewriters and so on, but this photo doesn't work on the other piece, just take another of these and look if it then fits better on another one of these. Because this, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. And because of that, we're going to take some glue. And now I want to glue this with this piece to this. But here is no glue because I don't have a journal page yet where I will put this. So that means if I close this, here is still this area where I then later on will add the glue to attach that to my page. You could even leave out the glue here so that you could open this completely. I just do it like this because then it's a very practical reason. Then it's easier for me to make a photo for Instagram, because when I then put that later onto my table, I can make the photo easier. But if I would do this off camera, I would definitely leave this piece completely open so that I then later on can get the glue in here easier. But with this method, it's also not really a problem. But just for your understanding why I do it like I do it now here. Jetzt, that is German. That means now. Sorry. Also here, the glue is now only under this, so between the photo and this piece, and here is still, you know, this opening where we can then tuck the page in. Very interesting. We could even think about some fabric under here, but we can still later on add that. I will first go on and decide for the other things I want to add there. For example, these butterflies. And since the other ephemera pieces from the ephemera pack have also the butterflies on them, I think that could be a nice addition here. That's too much contrast. Now this one. I'm just thinking, I found these letters in my stash. I got them in a Happy Mail. Can we write something like love or so here, or is that too much? Are these stickers? Yes. Oh, that is nice, isn't it? For this, if you don't have these kind of letters, you could of course also use some die cut letters. Even if these are stickers, I have used some bookbinders glue to glue them down because of this extreme texture here, and I can feel that it needs a little help by Ian Presley. That's this little guy here. Please tell me that that is a funny name for something like this. Please just tell me that, okay? but only if you find it funny. Okay, so then here, this has really a lot of open spaces here. Where are these black leaves? Can we see anything here when it's black? No, we can't. Is that hard to imagine? Yes, it is really hard to imagine how that could look in the end. I thought we could put some of these behind here, but I'm not so convinced that that is a good idea. I think we should just take something. I'm just thinking about this paper here, which I had laying around here by coincidence. Look, that is good. I will quickly run to my sewing machine and sew this piece on this, and then let's just cut this out. And then just thinking, what if there was a photo behind this stuff? Is that possible? That is somehow really cool, isn't it? I mean, if you don't look so close, then you can't see this. And if you look closer and look at the details, you see his eyes and the glasses, and then you think, what is that? And then you can take the photo out. I think that is really interesting. I want to have it like that. Okay. For this one, I think I will just glue it down like this. But we could consider adding a butterfly there as well. Take an eyelet. And now I need to make sure that I only punch through this and not through the other layer, otherwise I can't attach it to the page anymore. How abstract is that? But that is at the same time really cool, isn't it? Oh, I love this. Can we do something with this as well? But perhaps if we only put one of these here, and then this here, this could work. No, that is even too much. I want to try it like this. Where are the birds? Somehow. Well, it needs to be like so. Okay. Or does it even want to be like so? And on the bottom of a page, because then the flower comes out from the typewriter somehow. And this bird is probably looking into the wrong direction. Yep. Okay. Let's glue this down. So then, last but not least, let's take a journal. Don't be confused, this is not finished yet. It looks really weird with this. I have to glue this down here. But I just wanted to give you some examples what you could do with page tabs like this. First, think about something like this. Even if you have made this with the intention of having a page tab in the end, if you see something like this and you think, oh, that looks nice, just change your mind and don't use it as a page tab, yeah? I mean, there's absolutely no problem to take something like this and put that to a cover. I mean, why not? But if we think about page tabs and if we want to use them as page tabs, obviously, you would then put some glue here, decide for the page where you want to have that, glue that down there like so, and then like this, and then you would have your little page tab there with these cute birds. Oh, this page would be perfect, wouldn't it? Okay, so this one could either go like so, or also like this, or obviously like so, or also like this. That would be possible with these abstract things, to just turn them around into the direction you want them to be. With these birds, obviously that is not possible. I would do it somehow like this. What I also like is to take these kind of smaller pages in a journal and then put a page tab to such a page that doesn't peek out here, obviously, but I think that can also be a nice addition and makes this little page here into an interesting thing, because now it has this interesting irregular edge. When I look at this now, I'm not so sure if this will stay like it is. I find this somehow a little bit spooky, but well, we could then attach this like so. And we could even turn this then into a tuck spot as well. So I just want to take another page so that we don't see always the same page. So when I take this and put my glue here, I could then glue that here so that we see the typewriter on the other page of the journal as well, like so. So that adds then here to, adds interest here to this page. But you could also then glue it here like so, but only here and here, so that this is then a tuck spot where you can then, this is probably too big for this journal, but where you then can put something behind here like so. That would also be really nice. And last but not least, this one with the photo. In this case, I also would prefer, I think, a smaller page or even something round like this doily. Look, that is also really nice. So that's it for today. If you want to see more ideas what you can do with such a mixed media masterboard made from the leftovers from die cutting, then stay tuned for the next videos. I will show you more ideas what you could do with these, and you will also see the typewriter ephemera pack again, but please don't run away if you don't have that or if you don't like typewriters. As I said in this video already, you can also exchange these items which come from the digital ephemera pack with any other kind of thing, yeah, fabric, just a piece of paper, another digital, or scrapbooking paper, or whatever you have or whatever you like. But yeah, if you want to see that, then stay tuned and have fun with this idea until we see the next time. Have a very creative day, and thanks for joining me today. Bye bye.